was at the wrong place at the right time. 'Cause suddenly there you were with those bright blue eyes. We were conversing under the night sky when you took my hand, said let's leave now.
Hey friends, coming at you with a long overdue makeover video. We are working in the playroom today and I am so excited to be sharing this video with you. Finally, this project has taken me months to do. I hit every possible hiccup I could have possibly hit, but I'm here to share the journey with you. Like I said, we are in the playroom and I'm so over this ugly shelf. We are going to come up with a better situation for toys and for books that is more aesthetically pleasing, because that's just what I like. If I have to look at all this stuff, I would like it to at least look a little better. And I've been itching to do a makeover. I've been itching to do some type of DIY, so this is the one I landed on. I will be repurposing this shelf for my room for shoes, to use it as a little shoe rack. So my oldest is going to help me maneuver stuff around this room so we can get to working on the project. All right guys, this is what we're working with. I have these two cabinets. The doors are over there. We are going to paint these, paint the doors, and then I'm going to put them together and put them against the wall and put some wood on top. That will we will do another day. Painting them today is the main thing, but we're gonna get these ready to be painted. Oh, and you can see too, there were a lot of like things that I had to fix. I got these for free, so there were imperfections, but this was completely cracked, so I wood filled it. That was cracked down there, so I wood filled that one as well, which you won't be able to tell once I paint them. There was like little holes on the side that I filled. I just did wood filler, but just fix some imperfections. I got these for free, like I said, so, you know, I'm working with what I can within a budget, but let's do these. And just to let you know, this is the paint that I'm using. It is Woodland Lichen, I believe is how you say it. It's a Sherwin color. It's a green. I've used it in other things. This one specifically is a satin finish. It's Valspar cabinet and furniture. I've used it on other cabinets like this, and I've used this color on my shiplap downstairs and on my laundry room, and I just absolutely love this green. It's just like a perfect kind of like hunter green. So this is the color we're using for the cabinets. Since I did some wood filler, I obviously need to sand everything down, make it smooth so that I can paint over it and you won't see any texture. Also, pro tip that I've learned along the way is to sand everything before you paint, because if you make like your furniture a little gritty, it gives the paint something to hold on to, so it'll ensure that your paint will last longer. So I try to sand everything, even if it's just a quick little light sand before I paint it. Or you could also get a deglosser, which I've thought about, but I've never actually followed through on. You also want to make sure that you wipe down everything really well, because you do not want to have, you know, dust and stuff getting in the paint or sticking to it and making, once again, like texture on your furniture or whatever. But make sure you wipe it down really good and get all that stuff off there.
Got so much to say, never thought it would end this way. I've had so many thoughts spinning in my head.
Here's a quick reminder that if I am able to do these projects, you are absolutely able to do them too. If you had asked me 5 years ago if I ever thought I would be capable of taking on DIY projects like this, I would have told you absolutely not, that I did not have the skill set for it and I didn't know what I would be doing. But I've learned so much along the way, And I'm so proud of myself because I feel like I can do anything I set my mind to now. And being able to do stuff like this is very therapeutic for me. And it's not always perfect. I'm an imperfect human. My projects are imperfect, but they're good enough. And I always love the outcome. And if I can do it, so can you.
It doesn't matter 'cause it all came from. Can't be too late. Been missing everything that we had. I'll miss you, babe. I miss you, babe. You got so much to say, but you're crying like yesterday. Trying to read your eyes while we're kissing in the rain. Oh, look me.
I ended up having to do 2 coats on these cabinets. I did not show that because I felt like it would be repetitive and y'all would get bored. But I did end up having to do 2 coats. It was not gonna cover it just with one, especially a dark color like this. I find with the darker colors as well, it takes a lot more to really not have like the underneath show through. So I knew this would take at least 2 to 3 coats. I probably could have done a 3rd coat if I wanted to, but honestly, I didn't see the point. I thought it looked fine, but yeah, colors like this, you definitely need a few coats.
It doesn't matter 'cause it all came from. Can't be too late. Been missing everything that we had. I'll miss you, babe. I miss you, babe. Been missing everything that we had. Been missing everything. I'll miss you, babe. Can't be too late. I miss you, babe.
All right, moving on to another day. And we have all of this wood that we have to cut. I have the saw out. I'm gonna move it and we're gonna start cutting some wood. I also have this, which is the toe kick, I believe it's called. It goes down at the bottom. I need to cut this and then I need to paint it the same color as the cabinets. But this is what we're working with. This is the top for the cabinets, which is fine, does not need to be cut. We do need to sand it and stain it. And then we have the shelves. We need to cut these boards in half. And then these are gonna be what builds the floating shelves. So I'll take one of these, I'm gonna cut it in half. That'll be top and bottom, and these will be the sides and the front. I don't know if that makes any sense yet, but I'm a little concerned because I'm not good with measurements, I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna do the best we can and fingers crossed, hoping for the best. But we have a lot of cutting to do today. We gotta build the shelves and then we have to start sanding and staining.
I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too.
You can ride out the blue. I wanna do what you want to. We can leave and run away someday, someday. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need it.
I measured everything out for the shelves to cut the wood for the shelves, and I still was off by a little bit, so I had to recut it. I had my ex Chris come over and help me because I was going to need an extra hand for 1 and for 2. He is really great with math, so I knew if anybody was going to be able to help me perfect it, it was going to be him. So I went ahead and had him come over and help me. I don't know what it is, but I'm just not good with math, and when you're doing stuff like this and there's so many working parts, and the way the shelves, the floating shelves, had to come together, it's like so many measurements, so many pieces, and it's got to work out perfectly to fit perfectly. And I was very close on my own, but I was just off a little bit.
We
right, here are the cabinets. I've got them all painted. I didn't paint the insides because those will be together, so I don't need to paint that, but I got all of them painted. Don't mind Lola just hanging out. I painted this side of the cabinet doors, but now we are going to flip them over and paint the other side. And then we will be done with the cabinets. So by tomorrow, should be able to put the doors back on, put those together, and then start doing the shelves now that we have all the wood cut. So let's paint these cabinet doors.
'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and save you. Oh, oh. Call me anytime that you need a friend. And call me anytime when you're out of tight and you. I got you. You got me, got me. You got me, got me. You got me too. Got me.
All right, here we are, and it's another day, and we are going to sand all the pieces for the shelf. They were a little rough. I definitely need to get a new blade for my saw, but we're making do with what we got because this is what we got right now. So I am going to sand everything, sand all the edges to just soften them up a bit, especially because once I build the shelves, some of these parts I won't be able to get to very well. So I wanted to make sure they were good before I put the shelves together.
You feel so far away, though you're close. Where's your mind at? I wanna know. A penny for your thoughts. I wanna know what's inside that heart of yours. Ooh, I feel paper thin. Ooh, when will you let me in? Do you let anyone get under your skin?
So first we were building the support for the floating shelves. This is what's going to go onto the wall that the shelves are going to slide onto. So I had, once again, Chris come over and help me with this because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it by myself. So he came over and was helping me, and it was a lot easier to build these than I thought it would be, but we got them all built and ready to go on the wall. Next up was building the floating shelves, and what I decided to do was to take the sides and nail them in. I didn't want seams to really be super noticeable. I wanted to be able to wood fill them, so I figured if the top and bottom were connected to the front and the sides so that it wasn't like sitting on it or resting on it, if that makes sense. I wanted it to be inside of it, kind of like you can see it like here, and then I wanted the front to be the straight face so that you didn't have a seam up front. The seams were more hidden on the side, if that makes any sense. That's just how I wanted it. I felt like that would be the most aesthetically pleasing as well.
Anyone get under your skin? I just wanna get to know you, so would you let me get to know you, boy? Would you let me get to know you, boy?
And this, my friends, is where I went horribly wrong. I used this wood filler and another wood filler because when I started using this wood filler, I used this wood filler on probably half of the project. And when I started using it, I noticed it had a weird tint to it, but I was like, it's stainable. I'm not sure, like probably will dry fine. That was not the case. And this ended up postponing my project by like a month because I ended up having such a hard and difficult time with it, but we'll get into that later and I'll talk with you about how I fixed that later. But this ended up being a huge mistake that I ultimately paid for. Now we are going to find the studs on the wall so that we can hang the support for the shelves. And I knew going into this that I was going to hang it on studs because I wanted to make sure that it was going to be secure and that the shelves were going to have the support they needed, because I knew that I was going to be putting you know, relatively heavier stuff on the shelves, and I did not want to have to worry about them.
Would you let me get to know you, boy?
So now it was time to stain the shelves, and I knew that I needed to sand them first because of all the wood filler on it, right? So this was the side that I used the other wood filler on, which was beautiful. If I had used that wood filler the whole time, I wouldn't have ran into any issues. However, I did not. But I knew that I wanted to stain these, so even when I was sanding them and saw that the color was a little off where the other wood filler was, I was hoping that the stain would be able to balance it out. So I was winging it like, all right, let's stain it and see what happens. I decided to mix two stains because I just really like the idea of mixing. So I got a natural color and then I got early American, and I decided to make my own concoction and mix them, which is what I did for the shelves in the boys' bathroom. So that's what I decided to do, and the color was great. I did not mind the color at all. It wasn't too dark. However, I unfortunately was still able to see that you can almost see it here where I filled where we scratched the wood. We scratched the wood, so I filled it. You can see the color there. It just, you could still see the color even with the stain.
Never really wanted the night to end. And I was wishing you'd stick around. Still I was thinking
This piece of wood that I'm staining is just the piece of wood that's going to go on top of the cabinets. So this one was really simple. I sanded it real quick. We didn't have to cut it or anything. It was perfect just the way it was.
had we met before, laugh innocently, but it didn't feel like thunder or lightning or something struck me when I was looking to.
Okay, everything is completely dry now, but I don't know if it'll pick up on camera. It's kind of yellowish and I'm not loving the color. Also, the wood filler that I used for part of the job, you can see it like stained the wood. I don't know. I used one wood filler and I didn't love how it looked, so I started using another, and you can tell the other one I used did not leave that same stain, but it did. So you can see, because this is where I filled in the holes for the nail gun to build the shelves. So on both shelves, and this is going to be the front of the shelf, so you're going to be able to see this pretty well. So we are going to try to use some oven cleaner. I've done this before. I'm going to try it again because I do want them to be not yellow. Like, the color is fine. I just don't like the yellow undertone. It's not picking it up on camera really well. Let me see if I can turn this down. You can kind of see it better now. It's just very kind of yellowy, and that's not what I want. I want a bare looking color. So we're gonna take these outside, grab some oven cleaner, spray them down, scrub them, and hope for the best. It can't be any worse than how it is now, so I figure it's worth a try, and we'll go from there. This is just a part of doing DIYs. It's always a learning curve. You do the best you can. Let's try something new.
Eyes wasn't love at first sight, fire burning bright, but now I know what it was.
I have done this a few times before with wood projects, and I absolutely love how it turns out. But I didn't know how this was going to go just because the wood filler, I was confident that the color would be what I wanted, but I wasn't sure how that wood filler would look, so I wasn't sure if it would solve that problem. So what you do is you spray oven cleaner on the wood and you let it sit for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then you take like a scrub brush, you scrub it, and then you hose it off. And I let it sit out in the sun for one, because if you let it sit out in the sun while it's drying, the sun is going to brighten it up as well. And so that was like obviously what I was trying to achieve, but that's what we're doing.
Like coming home, yeah, it felt like coming home. I was the girl all alone in the corner, drinking by herself on a Saturday night. Me and my friends are waiting
Okay, here is my current dilemma. You can still see the spots from the old wood filler. You can still see them right there. You can still see it. You can still see it over here. So what I'm going to try and do, because on the other side I used the other wood filler and you can't really see it. It looks great. I love how it turned out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the other wood filler over this one and see if maybe that gets rid of that discoloration. Otherwise, I'm gonna be forced to stain these darker, which I don't want to do. So let's give this a try. This is where I stopped showing everything after this because I used the other wood filler and it did nothing. When I sanded it, it still had that color shining through. So what I did was decided, okay, we are just going to stain these a little bit of a darker color, try and hide that tone by darkening the stain a little bit. So I went and I made a concoction. I made 2 separate stain concoctions until I reached one that I was satisfied with, and that covered the color that I didn't want. And I was able to make it work, although the shelves were not the light color that I wanted them to be, but they were still a light enough color. We're going to take a little break from the shelves and we are going to put the holes on the cabinet for the hardware. One of the cabinets already had holes, so I just used that as a template for the other cabinet, but we still needed to do it nonetheless, get that done. I should have just bought the template thing for the holes because these holes were off just ever so slightly. I was still able to make it work. It wasn't a big problem, but it probably would have been a lot easier if I just bought the template. But at the time I was like, oh, I'll be able to do it real quick, even though I'm not good with measurements. I don't know why I thought that. It still worked out nonetheless, but it probably would have been a lot easier if I had just bought the template thing. I also still needed to paint the faceplates for the faux drawers. Now I could have put drawers in here, but honestly, I wasn't going to use the drawers. I really just wanted the cabinets to put store bigger toys in. And I knew I wasn't really going to use a drawer. I don't want my kids to have them because then they're going to end up being big junk drawers and then, something I have to organize and keep up with cleaning. So I knew I didn't want to do that. And I went back and forth for a while if I should put hardware on them. But honestly, maybe eventually in the future I will add hardware to them. But I was so over this project at this point that I was just doing whatever I could to get done with it. That was just the point I was at. Now we are going to put poly. We're doing a spray poly for the shelves because this isn't an area that is going to see water or get rings from condensation from cups and stuff. My kids don't drink upstairs. So I knew it wasn't going to see food or condensation or anything like that. So, but I did want to make sure they were strong enough to withstand dragging a book on it or whatever. So I decided to opt for the spray poly because it's easier and it works all the same. But as you can see, the color is not bad. The shelf colors, not bad. It worked out. You can't see that orange tint anymore. Like I said, they're darker than what I wanted, but I still do genuinely like the color. I mixed so many stains though, I couldn't tell you, I could not duplicate this because I mixed so many stains and stained it so many times that who knows what color they actually are at this point. I got these cute little bookends on Amazon. They were completely affordable. I like that they're acrylic, they're see-through, so there's no I didn't have to match them to anything. I will link them down below if you're curious. And they just do their job so perfectly. I am so unbelievably pleased with how this turned out. It serves its purpose. It stores a bunch of toys. It is such a better aesthetic way to store their books, and I just absolutely love it. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new, I hope you choose to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.